What's up, y'all? Thanks for joining the Travel Tales and Talk podcast with Derek and Makayla. I'm Derek.
I'm Makayla.
Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Uh-oh, I think I've done it again. I'm training dogs and one of them go missing. And now I'm in the woods at night. Honey, why are we in the woods at night?
Because you lost my dog again.
He lost himself.
And let me tell y'all, now, at the last episode, y'all heard me tell this man, do not come home if you left one of my dogs in the woods.
But it's dark.
So this time.
And cold.
He leaves my dog, Scout, who was one of the babies. He's one of the younger ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves him in the woods alone. And Scout, we like to joke that he is
the forever puppy.
A forever puppy. He acts like a toddler.
He is a toddler.
He literally think about the things a toddler does when they're
and that's Scout.
Sticking fingers in sockets and just being into everything.
Eating tennis balls.
Eating
rocks.
Tearing up stuff. Scout has lost 2 teeth over chewing on rocks. Literally, the biggest teeth in a dog's mouth.
The molars.
They're huge, like the thickest and strongest, biggest teeth in their mouth. Our dog has lost both of his from chewing on rocks.
You have to think about it. It has to be disgusting going in and difficult coming out.
And out, but that's what he's going to do. And that's Scout. Scout is always into something. He's always hyper.
He's a toddler.
He literally is a toddler.
He's the forever puppy.
But anyway, this particular
day, the day before, I wanted to get them out because the weather was perfect. I was off from work. And it was perfect tracking season for the dogs. Practice makes perfect. And we go to our this is a different location, but it's a usual spot that we go to. So they know this place like the back of their hands. And the crazy part is we go to our same spot and bam, they walk in, rabbit gets up right in front of them. Like it just comes from out of nowhere and they go crazy and they run this rabbit for 45 minutes to an hour. And then all of a sudden it just goes quiet, just like nothing, like they just disappeared. And I was like, oh my God. Whew, this woman's going to kill me if I lose all 4 of them. So I got to find at least 2 of them.
At least 2 of them?
That was my thought. I got to find at least 2 of them.
Oh my goodness.
So, like 30 minutes goes by, an hour goes by, hour and a half goes by. And I'm like, oh my God, these dogs have disappeared. And I had some crazy thoughts go through my head. I'm like, maybe they fell down a well. Maybe a bear got them because there are bears in, this part of the state. I was like, maybe they got attacked by a bear. Maybe it was a wolf, coyote. I started thinking like you did. And I was like, no, it can't be it. So I'm walking these woods. I walked these woods for like an hour, 2 hours, and nothing, not a trace. They just disappeared. And I was about to give up. And then Tracker comes around the corner first. Of course, he's the first one back. I was like, whew. If I can come home with Tracker, she might not kill me because you love Tracker. Boy, it's like, okay, I could sleep in the house, probably in the garage. I could probably sleep in the garage with Tracker. Ooh, another 15 minutes goes by, and here comes Chase. I was like, okay, 2 out of 4, that's 50%. Maybe I can sleep in the basement.
Mm-mm.
So I go from the garage to the basement. And then another 15, 20 minutes goes by. I'm really getting concerned because I don't see Ranger or Scout. But then Ranger comes back. And Ranger and Scout, once again, they do nothing without each other. So I was concerned. It's like, where's Scout? And I have to come back with them all 4 because the next 4 days it's going to be like Antarctica in Kentucky. And I was thoroughly concerned. I'm like, he won't survive that. And
when Derek says Antarctica,
frozen.
It was expected to get in single digits where we live.
Below zero for several days.
And our dogs, Derek has tried to make them outdoor dogs, but our dogs sleep in the house every night.
But they're still dogs. They can handle it.
And so I was worried about his fur not being thick enough, because he's not outside all the time. So you know, and I made Derek. He came home with the 3. And I had his tail. I don't even know if I let him eat that night. I told him, you better get back in this car and get out here, show me where you lost my dog, and let's go look for him.
All 3 of us. It was me, you, and London Rose.
Oh, yeah, because London Rose is not. She don't play them games either. And we were back in the Armada. We
back
got
in the Armada.
In the Armada. And we drove all the way up to the edge of the woods.
All the way to the back.
Yeah.
That's where
he lost him.
at.
And there's a parking area there. And then it's just trees and trees and trees. So
the woods.
I wasn't silly. I wasn't going to say, hey, let's drive the truck down. We weren't going to do that. So we stopped in the parking lot.
You learned your lesson
but
from that.
It was pitch black. Like you couldn't barely see your hands in front of your face. And then that's when I had a thought like, ooh, this could go left real fast, because what if like an alien or some kind of monster?
Jason's out there.
It looked like we were in Crystal Lake somewhere. It really did. And I was like, man, we can go missing and no one would know because we're all the way back in the cut. But I didn't care. Derek got out. He brought some dog food.
He left a blanket,
left some of his clothes, put some food out for him. And he never showed. We did the whole hiya thing.
And we stayed out there at least an hour and a half.
We stayed out. It was about 2 hours. We sat in that truck calling for him.
Nothing.
And then we had to leave. We had to leave.
It's getting late.
And of course, I couldn't sleep. We get up and I wait, till the sun to come out. And I learned my lesson from the time I got stuck in the mud. But I also made. On the second day, I made a recording.
Let's stay on day 1.
Let's stay on. That's right.
Because we go out.
We go out with all the dogs.
All the dogs.
We bring all the dogs. And what you guys don't understand is when a beagle barks out in the woods, their voice is echoes.
It's really loud.
It's very loud, and it travels far. And we stayed out there all the way until it started snowing.
We were out there a good 4 hours.
Yes.
And the dogs jumped a rabbit, and that was my hope that they would jump a rabbit and Scout would come from out the bushes or something, but that didn't work.
Scout didn't show up, and we stayed out there. And then we found signs of Scout. We think we found where he slept, and because he was leaving like little traces of himself, if that makes
paw
sense.
Prints.
He had like little paw prints and things like that. And it started snowing, so we had to leave. And
and it started snowing
hard
and fast.
It did. The snow came down really fast because that was the time when it snowed in our area so fast that the interstate kind of shut down, and we got trapped on the interstate.
So from this training location, it's about 45 minutes max from the house, and on the way back because of the snow,
it took us almost 3 hours.
Yes. It was a long drive. We spent most of the time sitting on 75.
Yep.
And that's part of the concern. It was a lot of snow.
So we were worried that Scout was freezing to death now at this point. And then the next day, I had an idea that I would make a recording.
On day 2.
And I had a speaker. And I made the recording like, hiya, come on, Scout, come on, boy, let's go.
Yelling his name, come on, Scout.
And I had this whole recording going, and the recording looped for like 2 minutes. It looped. And I was like, here, just take this record and just play it, and then play it through the speakers.
I noticed you stayed at home while I was out in the snow.
Oh, I stayed home.
So I had to put on my snow gear.
He did. I didn't have snow gear. I live in Kentucky, but I don't have snow gear. And so he had to go out there on his own. And Derek stayed out there almost the whole day. How long you stay out there?
I stayed out there at least 3 or 4 hours, just walking and letting your recording play and just, looking for tracks. And that's when I located tracks near where we left my stuff. And I was like, those are his prints, because there's no one else out here. And they're smaller than coyote prints. They were his prints. Hindsight 2020. I was like, he's been in the area. He is still out here. So that gave me hope. But I was like, where did he go?
Yeah, because now by this time we were at 8, I think it was like 8 degrees.
And that was probably the high for that day.
Yeah, it was freezing. And I just knew that when Derek came home without my dog and he brought the recording back, I said, he's gone. And I started, to mourn him and make my peace and cry and get all that stuff out of me. So he was gone for 3 days at this point. That's the longest any of them.
This is day 2.
That's day 2?
Day 3, I go back out again.
Okay.
Day 3, I go out again, and I drive around the neighborhood, and there's a campsite right across the street, and I went to the campsite. Hey, have you seen this little dog? Like, no, we hadn't seen any dogs. Who's out in this weather is what the lady asked me. I'm like, well, this happened a couple of days ago. I was like, well, you should be at home. So I drive down a little ravine. There's another small neighborhood, and I did one of your moves. I knocked on the door, and it's like, no, sir, I hadn't seen your dog. So I went back to the property, and I just walked the property again for another 2 or 3 hours. And on day 3, I saw no signs of nothing. I didn't see bird tracks, coyote tracks. I saw nothing. I didn't even see his old tracks. And that's when I realized, I think, he didn't make it. Because that night it got really cold, like -5 with the wind chill. I said, there's no way he survived that. There's just no way. Like 3 days of this weather, he didn't survive it.
And Scout he was not the run of the litter, but he is definitely the smallest of the 4.
He's husky.
He's a husky one.
And he's greedy.
He's thick. He's a thickum.
He's a thickum.
But I just knew he was gone. Yeah. And me
at the
and
end
London,
of day 3, that's when you start to mourn.
Yep. And, we started to prepare ourselves, and he's not coming home. And then Derek gets up the 4th day. I'm going to look one more day and one more time. And I was like, he not there. Like, I go ahead and go. And Derek went out there.
I leave the house about 9 a.m. And I took my time because, like, it's freezing cold. The roads are still bad. I stopped at the Pilot and got me a McDonald's biscuit or something.
Good grief.
I was hungry. And so I make my way down the little trail, and I'm just driving. Then I get closer and closer to where we lost them. And I pull up, and I see this little tricolored beagle just sitting there looking at these 2 hunters. I'm like, is that Scout? And he's just sitting there. He's sitting there like he's involved in their conversation. I'm like, shouldn't this dog be looking for me? And I pull up, and I get closer and closer, and I look, and it's Scout. So on day 4, I pull up, and he's just waiting. He's just chilling.
Sitting with these strangers.
Sitting with these strangers like he knows them. And I'm like, why didn't they call?
What were the strangers doing?
Just chilling, sitting on the back of the pickup truck, having a conversation. He was sitting there in the middle of it like he knew what they were talking about. Like one dude would say something, he would look at him. Then the other guy would start talking, he would look at him. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, shouldn't he be like, looking for me? Like, he's just sitting there waiting like, hey, guys, come on, pick me up, put me in this truck. I'm ready to go home. I'll go with you guys. These other people left me. That's the way he looked. Like, hey, okay, you guys don't see me?
So what happened when you walked up to these people?
I didn't even get a chance. I opened the door. He looked. He just ran and jumped in the truck. I didn't even get a chance to speak to these dudes. I opened the door, and when I opened that door, he looked, and he just ran and jumped in the truck, got in the back of the truck. And I was like, how long has he been around? He's like, he's been around here all morning running rabbits.
All morning?
Yeah, he's like, they were like, he's been up here all morning running rabbits, ruining our deer hunt. I was like, oh, my bad. And I was like, well, you guys wasn't going to call? We figured all these cars, he belonged to somebody out here. It's like, oh, well, okay. Good thought process, but still, when you pulled up this morning, because he told me, he said, when we pulled up this morning, he was running a rabbit. And they were the first ones out there. He said, we were the first ones out here. I'm like, well.
If he was running a rabbit, there's no cars.
You should have known there were no cars out here. He was out here by himself. But, some people don't care.
Yeah, because he has, like I said, our numbers are on his collar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I was a little perturbed when Derek first told me that. But I was very, very happy because Derek FaceTimed me. He tried to do the whole thing, well, I couldn't find him thing. It didn't last long because he ended up FaceTiming me. Like, Derek never FaceTimes. And he shows me Scout laying there. So when he gets Scout home, Scout is in bad shape. He ripped up his thigh and he's hoarse. Like his bark is like,
yeah, because that dude was hunting the whole time.
Yeah, that's how he sound. And he was angry at his brothers.
Oh my goodness.
When we brought him home, we brought the boys, we called his brothers in to see him. Mm-hmm. The boys all spread out. They spread out in the living room, one at each corner, and Scout barked at every last one of them, and they all just kind of moved to their own wall and just
like
stared at him, and they kind of tried to creep up on him, and he just, woo.
Maybe it was like a Mexican standoff.
I don't know.
It was like they were just standing
It was so, like, he was telling them off. Now,
He was angry.
Scout has a special bond with Ranger. Now, he did bark at Ranger, but he did let Ranger creep up enough to sniff him and lay with him. But them other two, Tracker and Chase, they couldn't get close to him at all.
He was angry.
At all. But so when we got him to the vet, we find out that he contracted Lyme disease.
Don't know how. In the middle of the winter.
Well, he must have had it at some point, and it was identified then. He, like I said, he tore open his inside thigh.
So he got some antibiotics.
He got some antibiotics. He has, they gave him a special diet because he lost weight.
Yeah.
He liked it because he got to stay in the house for a week.
All by himself.
All by himself. We made them other jokers sleep in the garage.
He was like, I'm the baby now.
We put him by the fire. Because my thing is, whenever one of the dogs go missing, they get to lay in front of the fireplace.
Treat him like a baby.
And they have their blankets and their toys. And so he was spoiled for the week.
The crazy part about it is, this man survived that. And we always say, if I had one wish, I think I would use it on that. I want him to tell me what happened.
Yes.
Like, give me 45 minutes where he can speak and tell me what happened while he was gone.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
What did he eat? Like, how did he
survive the temperatures?
It was freezing in the snow.
And we got, I think it was like 10 inches, maybe 11 inches of snow.
It was
almost
lot.
A foot of snow.
Almost taller than him.
It probably, yeah.
In some places.
Some places it probably was. And then you got to factor in the wind chill. The wind was blowing. I think one night it got like to -10, something like that. And he was out in the woods. That is amazing that he survived that.
Yep.
No food, no shelter. The water was frozen. So
it was
he had
frozen.
No water. Like, how did this dude survive?
We do not know. But then, after he came home, we started to really observe Scout. And like we said before, Scout is the one that can open up cages. Mm-hmm. He's the one that's always watching you and learning. Mm-hmm. He's the one that catches bats.
And catches birds.
He done caught 2 bats in the past week.
The past 2 weeks, he caught a bat.
He catches birds.
Yep.
He's poop. Goodness.
So maybe he survived by being a predator.
Yeah.
Being a baby wolf.
Yeah.
Because every time I look up, he's killing something in our backyard. And I'm like, how is it that he can kill stuff and those other 3 can't?
I don't know.
Maybe he got trained by a coyote while he was in the woods. He became part of the pack.
I just want to know what happened.
We need to make a Disney movie about Scout's survival. It'll take place in the Yukon of Alaska.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna make it all
a beagle.
We're gonna make it all. We're gonna make it happen.
He getting fish out the river too.
Man, he gonna be hanging out with bears.
Oh gosh.
He gonna be hanging out with mountain lions, leopards, and somehow we're gonna put a lion in this movie.
Oh boy.
No, baby, this is an amazing story. The survival of Scout. Scout is a survivor.
Would y'all watch that?
I would. I would watch that, no doubt. But that's Scout's survival episode. Scout the survivor.
All right, you guys. Until next time.
We'll talk to y'all later.
Ooh, if you made it this far, you are the true champion. You could have been anywhere, doing anything, but you instead chose to spend your time with us. And for that, we say thank you.
I'm Derek.
I'm Makayla. Rate, like, and subscribe. Do good, be good. Until next time.